You may remember when Dove first launched their Real Beauty campaign, highlighting how many models are digitally enhanced for advertisements. It was groundbreaking and profitable. Dove's sales shot up by a staggering 700%. Still, realistic portrayal of women in advertising remains an exception, which is why Serena Williams just posed in an unretouched photo on the cover of Harper's Bazaar as part of their Real Beauty issue. Well, now a new bill on Beacon Hill is challenging advertisers to think twice before erasing a model's wrinkles or shrinking her waistline. But could it work? Cristina Quinn has the story.
On any given day in Therese Razor's home, you'll find her creating what she calls anti-diet culture artwork, which she posts on Instagram. She used to struggle with an eating disorder that started when she was a teenager.
I thought, to be, a good person, valuable, likable, popular, that I had to look exactly like the women in 17 magazine, because I felt like, that was sort of the blueprint for how a woman really should look.
And if you flip through any fashion magazine or website, you'll be hard-pressed to find models who don't fit that blueprint. With a few exceptions, it continues to be the status quo.
The digital alteration or manipulation of models' images to make them conform to beauty standards sets up impossible beauty standards. It increases the risk of eating disorders and also increases the risk of depression, of anxiety, and body dissatisfaction that can be harmful in many kinds of ways. But what we didn't know was how will we solve this?
Bryn Austin, a Harvard public health professor, is one of the forces behind a realistic advertising bill that would incentivize Massachusetts businesses not to digitally erase wrinkles or alter the skin color or size of their models. It's the first of its kind in the U.S.
We absolutely cannot ban digital altering of advertising images because we have First Amendment rights here. So what does that leave us in the U.S.? That leaves us with the opportunity to have tax incentives.
A $10,000 tax credit, to be exact, if a business can prove it did not make their models thinner, younger, or whiter.
Here, I've changed the skin tones.
But this advertising expert has his doubts. Former creative director of the Hill Holiday Ad Agency and Boston University professor Doug Gould walks me through a Photoshop session in which he alters the model's environment and skin tone.
But if I determine that I like this image better, you can see that she has gotten quite a bit lighter, right? I can't do this by the law that they've written.
Gould says a company may not want to bother spending hours organizing thousands of images for a $10,000 tax credit. Not to mention, a law like this would compromise a company's creative vision.
Every company wants to have their own brand look, and a brand look involves manipulation. And by having a bill that curtails that, it would create a level of sameness that might not be appealing.
But if you ask Therese Razor, there's already too much sameness, and a realistic advertising bill is a step in the right direction.
I think the more we normalize human bodies in all of their, shapes and forms, the better.
And if this bill passes muster, maybe we'll see a lot more art imitating life in all its variations.
Joining me now is the real Cristina Quinn. This is you.
Tis me.
Okay, fine. Whether people like or don't like this concept, how is this enforceable? How would they enforce it?
Right. So it would, the IRS, you would have to prove to the IRS, provide documentation, right, or proof to the IRS. So I think the burden of that would fall on them. But Bryn Austin and Kay Kahn, Representative Kay Kahn, who's the Newton representative who filed this bill, they understand that wouldn't be feasible. So the idea includes a third-party certifier. It's part of this larger vision. Think of like a LEED certified building. It's like a third-party certifier for this. Yeah.
I mentioned in the lead to your package, Serena Williams, the great photos in Harper's Bazaar. There are a lot. Not only is she setting a standard, there are a lot of companies, not just the Doves of the past, who are doing this voluntarily.
Yes,
because it's good for business.
Right. It is good for business. It's a growing trend. Aerie and Target. They, in the last few years, made this public pledge not to retouch their photos. So, there is, even if you don't make a huge amount of money from it, you are getting a lot of attention, which is, half the battle, right, for any company. So it's a growing trend, and there's also this growing body positivity movement. So I can see why companies want to do it.
Does this have any chance at all in the first round? Very few radical, I don't mean radical in a pejorative way, but it's, as you say, the first in the country. Does this have any chance this round or no?
Well, right now, they've been endorsed by a number of local eating disorder organizations.
Oh, really?
And they're going to be having, I think, their first hearing probably in the fall. So we'll see. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm really interested to see.
I am retouched, by the way, unlike you. I just wanted to say, Christina, it was
believe
great.
it.
Thank you so much for your time.